this is Aldea, and today I want to give you my review of the Gourmande Girls Call of the Sirens palette, which looks like this. So beautiful. I really fell in love with this cover story as soon as I saw it. I will give you swatches here. This is not my first palette from Gourmande Girls. I already know their formula. I really love their mattes. Their shimmers are really pretty, but they don't stay that well on my eyelids usually. So I want to see if this is the case with this one. Hopefully not. Well, I already know the answer because this is my third look. I'm gonna show you 3 looks, and I will see you again at the end of the video to give you my full review on this palette. Okay, so we start with the first look, and I'm taking the shade Seahorse. I'm taking it on a big fluffy brush, and I'm not too precise with it. I just diffuse it like to be a transition color. Then I'm taking the shade Sea Nymph, and I put it on the outer part of my lid. I chose it because I wanted to how do you say that, coordinate with my top. It's not exactly the same, but well, almost. And I blend it with the Seahorse shade a little bit higher because as you can see, when my eyes is relaxed, you can't really see it otherwise. Then I'm taking the shade Lagoon, and I put it on the very outer corner just to deepen everything up. I thought it needed it, and I don't want to take it too high. I just blend it a little bit, but I still want the Sea Nymph color to be the main color. Here again, when my eye is relaxed, I don't really like the shape it has, so I'm working it. So until I'm happy with the shape. It really works easily, the mattes I mean, which I'm quite used to with the brand. And then I'm taking this same shade Lagoon on a smaller brush, and I put the smallest amount on my lower lash line. Then I'm taking my NYX glitter primer and the shade Lorelei, and I'm actually discovering it at the same time as you do, because most of the time when I do my reviews, I haven't swatched the palette yet. I'm really discovering it. This is a very smooth shimmer. It works itself really easily. And then I'm taking the shade Elixir of Life, and I put it in my inner corner. This shade is a lot more flaky, but it works itself quite easily as well. Then I'm taking the shade Undersea, and I put it on my lower lash line, as I like having shimmers on my lower lash line. I put the High Key mascara from Beauty Bay and the Whirlwind highlighter from Fenty Cosmetica from their Celestial Lights trio, and this is the final first look. I really like how it came out. After I did it, I wasn't sure that the Lorelei shade was the right choice for it, but I actually really like it. This is the end of my day, so it's like 12 hours after I did my makeup, and as you can see, it really creased, as I'm quite used to with Gourmande Girls shimmer. Unfortunately, I tap it a little bit to try to get it good again, but it doesn't really work. It's not horrible, but it's, well, it's not great. I'm quite disappointed. For the second look, I'm taking the shade Seahorse again, and well, I'm gonna work it just as in the first look. I'm not being too precise, it's just gonna be a transitions color, and for that I really think that it's a smart addition in the palette, because all of the others are quite colorful, and as I'm not a, well, these tones are white, well, I'm sorry, they are cool colors, but kind of warm tone-ish. But still, it makes it easier to well, to diffuse. I'm sorry, I kind of lost myself. Here I'm using, sorry, the shade Femme, and I'm diffusing it. I'm taking it again on a smaller brush in my lower lash line. I really love the shade. Then I'm taking the shade Moonlight and I put it on my inner corner. I really love this combo. As you can see, I hope, it's a sort of pastel, but it's not as bright and pigmented, which may not be the preference of some people, but actually I think it really makes it more wearable for me, because I'm not a bright undertone. Most of the time pastels don't look good, but this looks good on me, I think. Then I put my NYX glitter primer and the shade Sirens. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And I put this shade on like the outer 2/3 of my lid. It's a little bit flaky, but it works itself really easily. And then I'm taking the shade Bewitch, which is very smooth, and I put it in the inner third that I left blank. I'm just putting a little bit more of the Femme shade, because when I put the shimmer on, I thought it lost a little bit of depth. I wanted to have more of it. And then I'm taking again the shade, well, I'm not sure it's the shade Siren or Bewitch, but well, I put it on my lower lash line. Here I'm using the Glamlite X Lord of the Rings One Ring highlighter. I already posted my review if it interests you. Here I'm putting on a little bit of my Nude Stix Angel eyeliner and my sorry, and my Colourpop cream gel liner in Joyride, but only in the outer part. I'm really loving how it came out. Here I'm giving you a little noon update. So it's like noon or maybe 1 p.m. And as you can see, it's already creased quite a lot, but I can work it and it's almost as good as new. And here it's the end of the day, and again it creased, sorry. I can work it a little bit better. I think it looks better than it did yesterday. Maybe it's because of the color. Maybe it's because of the texture of the eyeshadow. I don't know. I think it still looked okay. For the third look, I'm using the shade Menagerie. And I put it in my crease, but I'm like, I want it to be more intense than what I did in the first two looks with the shade Sirens. This look is actually the one that you saw in the intro, but it won't be the one from the outro, because I actually decided to do a fourth look when at first I thought I was just gonna do 3. But actually at the end of that day I didn't have time to come back, and I wanted to use it a fourth time before giving you my review, so it's working quite well. A little bit patchy, but it may be my fault. Maybe I should have like put the put the matte for the color and then blend the edges. Maybe I should have done that. Here in the outer corner I use the shade Lagoon. No, sorry, it's not, it's the shade Lagoon, but I'm not only putting it in the outer corner, I'm actually putting it all over my mobile lid. And so the shade Menagerie kind of is the transition shade, sort of. Like it's smoked out with the Menagerie shade. I hope I'm making sense. I'm sorry, English is not my first language. And as you can see, I'm also taking it on my lower lash line. Then I'm taking the shade Fairy and I put it on my inner corner. And for this one, I'm gonna say the same thing that I said about the shade Moonlight, the light blue. It's not too pigmented for my liking, so I think it still looks quite good on me. And then for the shimmer, I'm gonna use the shade Undersea, but I'm gonna try a different way to try to make the shimmers last longer. Instead of using my NYX glitter primer, I'm spraying the eyeshadow directly on the brush with my Sephora setting spray. I think this color really like suits the vibe of the look. So I'm working it slowly. I don't put more product to blend the edges. And then I'm taking the shade Elixir of Life. Same thing on a brush that I'm spraying with some setting spray. And I put it in the inner part of my lid. It's not exactly my inner corner, but as you can, yeah, I think you can see here, it's just to make the connection between my lid and my matte inner corner. So I'm blending it and like going a little bit up with it. Then I'm taking my Colourpop cream gel liner in the shade Amethyst Hour. And here I'm using a Kaleidos multichrome eyeliner, but I'm sorry I didn't write the name of it. And after putting on my Beauty Bay High Key mascara, this is the final look. I really love the vibe of it. I think, like, when I look at the palette, this is the first color that I think about, this deep teal blue. And this is the look at the end of my day. Well, I did the look like it was beginning of the afternoon, I think. This must be like 1 in the morning because I had something that evening. When I went to leave, it was like 7 p.m. and I put a little bit more of this undersea shimmer because it creased. And so as you can see, when I come back, it did crease again. It was not as bad as with the first look, but still it did a little bit. Here I'm taking the shade Starfish for our last look, and I put it in the outer half of my lid. I'm realizing that for what I'm wanting to do, uh, the brush that I had was too big, so I'm taking a smaller one to be more precise with the shape that I want to do. And now that I'm happy with the shape, I'm taking a bigger blending brush, and as you can see again, when I'm relaxing my eye, I can't see much, so I always have to take the shadows a little bit up, like higher, I mean. Otherwise, I won't see anything. I would have this big blank space, and what's on my lid will just be hidden. Here I'm taking again the shade Moonlight, sorry, on a fluffy brush, and I want to use it like to blend the edges of the Starfish shade. and I don't want it to take over, to be too intense, so I'm going very lightly. And actually I realized that this brush wasn't the best for what I wanted to do, so I'm just changing my brush for a more dispersed one. I hope that's the right word. Like it's fluffier, it's not as dense. And then I'm taking the shade Elixir of Life that I'm gonna spray again, and I'm applying it on my lid. As I already said in the first look, this is a more like flaky shade, so it's very sparkly as well, but when a shadow is too sparkly it makes my camera lose focus, so I'm sorry. But it still works itself quite nicely. It's not the best and easiest one, but it's still okay. And here I'm taking the shade Lorelei and put it on my lower lash line after spraying it also. It was probably not the best brush to use to do that, but it still worked nice. And for my inner corner, I just wanted to use my color, I think it's Opal Loose Multichrome, I think that's what it's called, and it's in the shade Bougie Bay. And this is the final look, which is actually the one that you're gonna see in the outro. I really love pairing it with a chocolate lips. Here is the middle of the day, like it's noon or 1 p.m. It's okay, it did crease, but yeah, I think that spraying the brush with the shimmers kind of helps. And this is the end of the day. So same thing, it did grease. It's still better than it was when I used the NYX glitter primer, in my opinion. It won't be the best staying power ever, but it's still better than it was. Okay, so I'm coming back at you with a different look than in the intro, because as you may have seen, I didn't actually made 3 looks as planned, and it's just because I wasn't happy with the way, well, I wasn't happy with my review. As you probably saw, most of the shimmer shade didn't last quite well on my lids, which is something that I'm used to, and it's something that I'm particularly used to with Gourmande Girls. And after I did my 3rd look, I thought, well, I thought I was stupid for not thinking about trying the Any Elegant Invest way. I didn't put any glitter primer on. I sprayed my brush with some setting spray. So for the last 2 looks, that's what I did. And so I could give you a more complete review with that. Okay, so about the color story first, I already said this is a dream. I really love this. I really like the fact that you have more deep options, because that's actually my preference. I really prefer that you have more deeps, especially in the mattes, and if you can really blend them out, it can really transform just like you could have two mattes. I don't know if I make sense. And I'm used to the Gourmande Girls formula being really easy to work with and pigmented and blendable. And I think that for the most part it's still true here, but for some reason, maybe it's me, I didn't felt like I didn't feel like felt like whatever. I thought that it wasn't as good as what I expected from the brand, from what I know. Maybe it was just some shades. Maybe it's because I powder my lids after I put my primer on. So of course the eyeshadow that would be put on top of it will not stick as much, but I usually don't have that problem with other brands when I do that. So I don't really know where the problem comes from. I I thought that some of them were not as pigmented as what I expect them to. Like they are pigmented, but I don't know how to describe it. I thought I remember them for being so good, and I have the Nightshade and the Haunted palette, marvelous. Maybe it's because of the colors that I hear that are maybe harder to do, but I think there were some like there were some like purples in the Gourmande Girls in the Nightshade, and I had absolutely no problem with them. So I'm not really sure, but still a very it's still a very good matte formula. Don't get me wrong. I'm judging this because I know this is one of my favorites. I just think that this is still very good, but not just quite my favorite as it is in the other palettes, but still very good. As you can see, I could absolutely use them, um, and they are still pigmented and still blendable and still beautiful. It's still all good. I thought that this shade was not as pigmented as it could be, but and this is something that I also said in my review of the Glamlite X Lord of the Rings palette. It's not really a pastel, but it's like pastel-y, we could say that. I like that it's not so pigmented, because when it's too pigmented on me, when it's too bright on me, it really doesn't look good. And I think that as it doesn't have that much white in it, it looks better on me. So actually I'm quite glad about it. I think you can do quite a lot of it with it. It could, well, it probably will always stay in the blue purple realm, but you can still go neutral using this one and maybe like this one to deepen it up. You also have a gray. I really like the shimmer options as well. There are different formulas. Like this one is the smoothest. This one is almost as smooth. And yeah, both of these are the same, I would say. And these ones, especially this one, are a little bit more flaky, but not necessarily in a bad way, just in a way that creases faster on my lids. But that's with all eyeshadow are like this, all brands I mean. But maybe I would have uh, like these three to me are like like goldish, copper, yellowish, golden. Maybe I would have liked for one of them to change to be like maybe a green or like a purple, maybe like, well, we kind of have two purples, maybe a pink, I don't know, like maybe something a little bit different, because I think that they are not really similar, but they are still in the same color family, and I would have liked for it to be a little bit more different. I used all the shades, I think. I really enjoyed all the looks I did. And to talk about the shimmer formula, I actually was really bummed to see how fast it creased when I used the glitter primer. I used the NYX glitter primer, by the way. And I was so bummed because it looked really bad when I looked at it at noon, um, because I can only, like, I don't have time at work to watch it before noon. And I thought that when I looked at it at noon, it looked almost as some other looks that I do with other brands look at the absolute end of my day. So yeah, I was really bummed. But when I tried it with the setting spray on the brush, I think it was better. It was not like perfect, not creasing at all, like what you saw what I did today, but it was still better. So keep that in mind if you have problems with creasing. If you don't like, you're so lucky. I hope you know how lucky you are. Um, I I will absolutely still continue to use this. I want, maybe one day I will find the perfect solution for them, for all my indie beautiful shimmer eyeshadows not to crease on me. I didn't found it yet. But this is a marvelous color story, so beautiful. I still, when I look at it, I still think of so many color combination that I can do, and I still want to use it a lot. And I think that's also why I didn't just do 3 looks, because at the end of my 3 looks, I didn't thought that I I was finished with it, you know. So really inspiring. It really makes me want to use it. Just like this little, like, how do you say that? Bittersweet thing that it creased quite fast, but unfortunately that's something um, that I always have seen with my Gourmande Girls eyeshadow. So that's something that maybe don't even concern you if you don't have that problem. So I still really recommend you to try it, or even to try Gourmande Girls, even if it's not this one. They have beautiful color stories, beautiful packaging always, and the quality is really nice. Um, this is not my favorite from the brand because of everything that I said, and also because like the Haunted and the Nightshade are some of my top favorites, like so beautiful. Um, but I'm still really glad I picked it up. If you did pick it up, I'd really like to know, and maybe even see some looks that you did. If you have it, I also hope that I could have inspired you to try some looks. If you don't have it, and you were looking for like an advice or something, I hope I helped you. And even if it was just to watch someone do makeup, thank you so much for watching. It really means the world to me to see that people are watching what I do. Even if I actually I do it because I like it, but whatever. Um, if uh, you just wanted inspiration, you may have some of these colors already in your collection, and that's great too. If your wish is to like shop your own stash and make me maybe buy build your own palettes and things. If you do that, I will really love to see what you do. And so yeah, thank you so very much for watching, and if you like this video, give it a little thumb up, maybe even subscribe if you haven't already, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.